Hello and welcome to Kitchen Counter Crafts. If you like this video, would you please like, comment, share, and subscribe. So today I have 3 pens here. They are the Noodler's Creeper, the Ahab, also Noodler's, and the Noodler's Konrad. And these 3 pens are very interesting because people have such a love-hate relationship with Noodler's, and I just wanted, for me, it's more about like trying to get some flex out of a pen, trying to get it to write in a different way, just some variation in line. And so Noodler's was one of the first flex pens that most people can afford. It's about 25 bucks, something along that line. Creeper's the cheapest. It's around 20-ish at the time of filming this video. And then the Konrad is the most expensive, coming in around about twice the Ahab's price. And so I just didn't necessarily want to do like a comparative review, but more of the line variation. So this is the largest pen, coming in right out of a little bit larger than 5.5 inches. The Ahab is about 5.5 inches capped, and then this one is about 5.4 inches. And then when we uncap this, still have ink in there. All right. That is around 5 1/8. Gosh, can you even see it? There we go. I was just talking to myself, just talking along and not even paying attention where I'm at in the video. There we go. And then the Creeper is tiny. So it's very, very small. It's almost like a petite pen, but it is not a petite pen. So I'm going to just keep the caps off because, believe it or not, I have about 17 pens inked right now. And that's because of the Waterman collection that I've been featuring. And because I have so many pens inked, they're taking forever to go through rotation. And so I'm kind of having a time of it. So I didn't want to ink these, so I'm just going to dip them. And I'm going to dip them in a Noodler's ink, and that is Black Swan in Australian Roses, one of my favorite inks from Noodler's. All right, so the first one I have is the Noodler's Creeper. And we're gonna just, again, I'm gonna just dip this and do a writing sample. So really nice line variation, to be quite honest. And I'm gonna do the same thing with the Ahab, and then I'll do a little bit of a writing with each one. I just want to do this so that you can see one next to the other. Trying to see. All right, there we go. That's good. And I'm pushing down on the downstrokes just to show any amount of flex it might have. All right, so each of these is the nib that came with it. no modifications. There are a huge amount of Reddit threads that talk about mods on the Flex pen, but these are just as they are. If you can tell here, the Creeper actually has quite a bit of line variation. So does the Ahab. It kind of looks similar to that. And the Konrad has the same nib. So let me just show you here. It's supposed to. And that one's a little bit different. So it might be... I know that the Creeper has the smallest nib, about a number 5, and these are more like number 6s. The feeds are identical on both the Konrad and the Ahab, with the Creeper being like this. So anyway, just looks a little different there. All right, let's write a little something. So I'm gonna go in the same order here. So you're gonna have Creeper first. All right, so there's that. Let me zoom in just a bit. All right, let's try the Ahab. There's that one. And then last is Konrad. All right, so can you tell the difference between any of these? I didn't really flex all that much on this. I mean, they all make the handwriting look nice. There is some line variation. In fact, I can see a little bit more. This nib, actually, the Konrad, feels probably the most stiff, in my opinion. It's hard to get this one to flex any, and I'm surprised that I was able to get that much out of it. These are the ways that I try to do that, and that doesn't look like much line variation at all there, kind of side to side. So this one's pretty stiff as nails too. So the other thing is, the more you write with these pens, the better they tend to just loosen up a tiny bit. And so you might be actually able to get some line variation. I had to push pretty hard to get that. However, for that price point of around, mid-20s, you can actually get some sort of a flex out of this. So let's see, I'll just write flex here. So if I'm really going to try and not get this to railroad up. Right when I said that, that happened. So that's not bad. That's the Creeper. Here's Ahab. Right, that's the Ahab. Which one? I prefer pretty much the Creeper or the Ahab. And then this one just tends to look like it's writing way more fine. But I mean, it's really pretty as well. I don't know. The verdict's out. So which one do you like? What do you prefer? The difference here, by the way, even though I said I'm not necessarily doing a review, I do want to point out this one has a built-in, like an internal piston. By the way, it's a little bit harder to clean because I still have some blue ink. You could just see that as I was writing as well, even though I thought I'd cleaned this out and cleaned it out. So a little bit of a finicky internal piston. This one I love because I can load this up with whatever ink I want. And it just, you can unscrew this part to get that whole thing really nice and clean. And honestly, I don't worry about shimmer inks or anything like that. And really, I put a whole bunch of shimmers in this because the nib is nice and broad. The feed can keep up. Now it does have a burping problem, and then people always complain about the smell, which y'all need to stop that. Just stick it outside in the sun in the daylight and it'll take care of it within 24 hours. So, and then this has an internal piston as well. And this one for some reason is easier to turn and clean. Don't know why. Just is. So my vote would be save your money from the Konrad, get an Ahab or a Creeper. And if you just want to experiment, try this guy. But it is very, very thin. This one is actually very comfy to write with. And if you want to just have like a beater pen for all your shimmers, I would really recommend trying out the Ahab. And I have a full review on the Creeper and the Ahab. If you're interested, I'll link them below. Until next time, bye.